All right. Good morning, cyber traders. Welcome on back here for another fantastic day live inside our trading room. Great to see Bobby, Mark, Grant, Charles, Pedro, Lewis, Henry, Leda, and all of us here live, of course. They're great to see all of us on social media, Facebook Live, and YouTube. Of course, you could tell this is the voice of not Fausto Pugliese, but my name is Josh Levitan. I'm Fausto's senior instructor. Of course, you may have heard me tag in for him on various mornings. I do the afternoon meeting for him. But with that in mind, folks, let's hop right to it. Fausto is actually running a brief errand. I mentioned to all of us live inside the trading room just earlier. He'll be back in for the market open shortly after 9:30. He'll be in, but nonetheless, we are good to go here. The ZVO trade. I'll tell you, we weren't good to go at first because it was a slow pre-market, right? I mean, geez, I mean, we talk about the 8 a.m. move. We needed the 8:30 move, right? And with that, the ZVO trade, ZVO, ended up making a really nice pop. Ended up giving us a lot at first. Ended up popping from like 95 cents, a dollar, upwards towards $1.20 and plus. So for right now, at least, hey, we'll put this on our list, but be careful at this point just because you can see the direction it's going in. It's kind of trending more flat now, making lower highs, if anything. So perhaps after the market opens, after another big shake down, then maybe it could build up some support for the higher high. So ZVO, I don't know the news out on this stock right now. I didn't even care to check. You know what? We got a little time here. Let's just check the news while the stock is up nearly 50% so far before the market opens. So it looks like they ended up entering into an asset purchase agreement back from yesterday. So there's a whole like paragraph. I'm not going to go into that, but it looks like they ended up just having some agreement, asset purchase agreement, big pop up. But also just be careful of the direction of this stock. Looking at the daily chart, this stock likely will be a pop and drop type of play. It's not going to be as often as we see like these like stocks that run day over day over day. So look what happened here. Ran up nicely and then completely tanked. Yeah, that could lead to a nice little short squeeze if the stars could align. But with the short squeeze, where I'm getting to here is, when the volume dies off, the stock's going to go with it. Just look what happened to the SIGA trade, right? And I'm sure we'll get to that stock just as we wrap up this meeting. Hey, also for all of us live inside the trading room, I know I'd mentioned this from yesterday. What day is today, right? Today is Tuesday. What do we got going on this morning? Coming up at 11 o'clock Eastern time this morning. What do we got going on? Mike's saying, Mark's saying, Michael's saying, Traders Talk, right? Late and all of us otherwise saying Traders Talk, our weekly workshop live inside the cyber group room. Hey, for all of us in social media, Facebook Live or YouTube, if you wanted to join us today for our workshop, just feel more than free to go right down to the link on the blue banner below. I made mention that yesterday. Just we do that weekly inside our live trading room. Now, for all of us there, that's recorded. So, hey, if you need to step out, if you have errands to run, if there's anything going on to where you have to miss it, that's recorded. It will be up on the student dashboard, the student portal later on this afternoon. All right. So, folks, let's go right from top to bottom. I know the snap trade, of course, provided some good opportunity for us in pre-market, but obviously on the short side, ZVO is really the only thing that was like pushing up for us pretty nicely at first. So, the BIMI trade, it was on our pre-market list, but man, this thing was a dud. Ended up like completely just pulling back after 7 o'clock. And then from there, I mean, it's just been flat. So where we talk about a stock that's been trending down consistently on the daily chart, just look what happened to BIMI just back in October of last year. Ended up making a big pop for us back then. I think it may have closed pretty strong towards the highs back then. If you happen to see that bar, the OHLC bar right there, and then you can see what happened the following day, right? What makes the top percent gainers list one day? I'll tell you, if it doesn't make the percent losers list literally the next day, it'll probably make the day after that. How about that? But BIMI obviously tanked since, so that's where I say be careful on Zevo. BIMI, hey, it's trading still 12.4 million shares. Is it still possible for this to make a pop back up? Yeah, absolutely. You hope for that to happen, but it's been a dud so far. So in the sense of history repeating itself, that's where you just be a little discouraged by it. But I'll put it on our list. It might not be near the top by the end of it all. I'll tell you, I'm not really too particular about the cheapies for this exact reason because they don't really make as concise or consistent of a move. So again, Zevo, watch out. GFAI, same thing, right? This one ended up making a pop up earlier. Looked good at first, but it's been flat since. SWTX, flat, well, not flat, but dropping off, just really thin order book. All right, we'll kind of have to fish through. Dow futures are down like 180 at this point. I think they were down like over 200 at first, but then last I saw prior to this meeting, they were down like 176. Last I checked, 183. So, obviously going to be negative going into the open here at first from yesterday, but we'll see what happens. We'll see which way the market breaks, and we'll see if we could find some good opportunities just from the side list. Eesh, jeez, if stocks are looking like this here on the gainer side, that's looking pretty bleak, right? Obviously, you got the SQQQ ETF on there. UVXY isn't up as much, but that's there. SOXS, all these inverse, ETFs or VIX ETFs, otherwise you label them as. That's all I got so far on the gainer side, folks. Sheesh. All right, let's get to Snapchat here. I'll break out the news one more time. How about that? So, I feel like a lot of us are familiar with Snapchat as a company, as a stock, as well. For all of us live inside the trading room, I mean, aside from it kind of falling out of our price range, it's been a stock that we've been calling out for quite some time. Even out of our price range, we've been calling it out off of earnings or off of news, whatever it may be. So we ended up seeing earnings come out yesterday from them. Uh, They ended up issuing guidance at the end of April. I know that. Obviously, not good earnings altogether. They blame it on the macroeconomic environment. I mean, I guess every company could do that too. So, that's not really as good of an excuse at this point anymore. I mean, and obviously that's the reality of life. But, Snapchat, I mean, at this point has been dropping off well before, the beginning of this year. So, with that, it's just been smooth sailing since as a short. And we're getting pretty close to IPO numbers, if I'm not mistaken. So with that, I mean, hey, Snapchat as a short heading into the market open, it's been clear cut, really since 7:30 in the morning when it started to trot back down. And then from there, after 8 o'clock, it ended up really pulling back further towards 15. So it's, easy to say, but it's been smooth sailing since then. It's been choppy since, that point though. So really around 15, you had to have been pretty careful. Made a quick break below 15 at first, but then it started to kind of just jump around it a bit. Now at this point, starting to pull back a little bit further. There's not really much on the bid right now as like a major support level. So listen, if you're in this trade from pre-market right now, I would absolutely look to get out of this before the market opens up. Just breathe a little bit, catch your breath for a second, and then kind of realign yourself once the market opens the first 3 to 5 minutes after. If you leave money on the table, who cares? Especially if you're already in from like, 1525 or 1550 level and you're killing it. So, take the money and run, especially during the chop here. And then otherwise just, see what happens after the open on the Snapchat trade. I would say that there was some big selling levels from pre-market off of 1575 and 1550. So those are two levels I'm particularly watching myself. All right, so we got Zevo on our list. Reluctantly, we have BIMI on our list, and we'll definitely add Snapchat. So that's three so far. Abercrombie and Fitch down off of bad earnings too. This morning dropped off from 26 down to sub 20. Right now it's at 1832. So, easily enough, I'll put this on our watch list, expecting more of a move afterwards. Just wait for the order book to fill in though. So, whereas Snapchat at least was pretty liquid, right? I mean, for a pre-market trade, at least this thing's on like, a 1 to 3 cent spread. Order book is pretty filled in for, pre-market. The ANF stock, not as much, right? So, that's the difference between what's worthy of taking as a pre-market trade versus not. You got to be able to follow big money, right? That's our whole philosophy at CTU. So, if there's no big money to follow, then it doesn't really make it worth it to trade. Even if it does trend down or make a particular move, it's just not worth it. It's not, worth the time. It's more risky. All right. Alongside the Snapchat trade, you're going to get a lot of these social media stocks tanking. So Pinterest down big, Facebook down over 8%, I think, at this point. Yup. Damn. All right. So this could be dragging the market down as a whole here at this point, folks. Obviously, a lot going on in the world to drag the market down. But, just when Facebook, a mega cap stock, is down over 8%, and that's moving in sympathy with Snap, well, I'd like to say that in its own is dragging the market down too. So, Pinterest will tag along on our watch list here. The Facebook trade, although it's obviously pretty expensive for anyone that's going to buy puts on it, that's different. We'll put Facebook on our list. Twitter, Ended up dropping off at first with Snapchat in the after hours, but yeah, it's like not really doing much of anything right now. So I'm gonna keep this on the side list. If you do well on Twitter day over day, and if you're itching to trade it, you know who you are, right? All right, folks, I think that just about wraps it up. I don't want to just lazily say that, but and we have a good list now at this point. I'm sure there could be a couple of good side list stocks that we could tag alongside. For instance, ANF, I think, is Abercrombie and Fitch, right? So with ANF, their competitor AEO, American Eagle, is down big too, but it's just a spotty chart. It's like side list. That's all. No need to put this on our main list. The GovX trade, for as volatile as it was yesterday, look at this pop. Wow. Yeah, Carol calling that out inside the live trading room. Michael before her just earlier at 9:06 Eastern time. Yeah, really nice call. So big pop now. I don't know if there's news that came out on this stock. I will check, but easily enough. Hey, this is the type of move that we want to see heading into the open. It was down like 23% at first heading into the morning meeting. So I had it on my notepad, but obviously on the losers list, it's still on the losers list. But big pop now. Let's see. So the news out on it. This could be interesting. GeoVax, that's the actual name of this company. GovX, we nickname it as. GovX receives notice of allowance for cancer vaccine patient or patent in China. So little news out there that led to this big pop. Hey, what makes the top percent gainers list one day makes the percent losers list the next, right? So for as much as this ran for us yesterday afternoon, came right back down going into the after hours pre-market. This thing stunk. I mean, truth be told, we weren't going to put this on our list here if it wasn't for the news and this pop. So really good call. I appreciate the heads up more than anything from Michael and Carol on this trade. Yeah, definitely. All right, folks. I think that just about wraps it up. I'm going to check Benzinga Pro one last time here, or not one last time. I didn't check it at all. I'm going to check it here, and then we're going to wrap up. Let's just see. I don't have anything else on the gainer side of things. C-Tech, but that's barely moving. And then just from the loser side, there's not really a whole lot that's dropping off as much. I guess I will jump to the SIGA trade. It's trading a lot of volume in pre-market. It still remains shortable on my platform. I don't know how, but hey, it's easily tradable. It's easily on my side list. I'm more interested in Snapchat myself. I'm more interested in the GovX trade now at this point for sure than SIGA for right now. But I'll probably come back to this around like 10 o'clock in the morning, 9:45 in the morning. Just probably secondary protocol, as Fausto would call it. All right, folks, for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, last call. If you wanted to join us inside our live trading room for this morning's workshop for Traders Talk, just go right down to the link on the blue banner below to get yourself signed up for a week-long trial. But if you're going to do that, though, and if you have questions that you wanted to ask me, specific trading-related questions that we're going to be able to go over in this workshop, just send it over to my email address. I always post my email here at the end of these streams anyway, especially when I tag in for Fausto on the mornings, josh@cttrading.com, but especially for this morning with our Traders Talk workshop coming up at 11 o'clock Eastern time. If you're looking to join us inside our live trading room for that, make sure that you sign up. But then also just if you have any questions, email me at josh@cttrading.com. For any of our students there, you folks know I just post my email on the chat board, though, just for you there. And then, hey, aside from that, though, folks, really quick, I want to make mention of this from Scott asking us inside the trading room. And I always like to phrase it this way. For all of us live inside the trading room specifically, if you could hear my voice right now, you don't need to go anywhere. Stay put. We're going to take like a 30-minute break after the morning meet or after the audio commentary. I'm going to jump onto a coaching session with one of our students. I'm going to jump back on the mic at 11 o'clock inside this live trading room, and then we'll be good to go. All right. But man, I'll tell you what, I need a refill on my water here. So let me do that. I'm going to post and tweet the morning watch list for all of us here, for all of us in Facebook Live and YouTube. I appreciate you folks. I will be joining you folks back at 2:30 in 2:30 Eastern time in the afternoon. I look forward to it. Talk to you all then.